There's a very specific kind of frustration that hits in your late 30s and 40s. You look at your income and think, on paper, I shouldn't feel this poor. Maybe you're earning 70K, 80K, even 100K a year, but there's this constant knot in your stomach. You check your bank balance 3 times a week. You avoid opening certain emails. Payday feels like a brief inhale before you go straight back to gasping for air. Most people think this is just bad money management, or that they're simply not disciplined enough. But what if the real problem isn't your income or even your spending, but the operating system in your brain? In this video, I'm going to show you the scarcity mindset trap, a psychological loop that quietly taxes your intelligence, hijacks your decisions, and keeps you stuck no matter how much you earn. If you want real financial freedom and a calm wealth mindset without hype, subscribe to Trip to Wealth. This is where we rebuild your money life from the inside out. Let's start with how scarcity actually works in your brain. When you're worried about money all the time, your mind goes into what researchers call tunneling. Imagine you're driving through a tunnel at night. You can only see what's in your headlights. Everything outside that narrow beam disappears. Financial scarcity does the same thing. When you're constantly thinking, how am I going to pay this bill? Your brain locks onto that one problem and blocks out everything else. This is why incredibly smart people make terrible financial decisions. It's not that they don't understand the psychology of money or basic money management. It's that the tunnel has stolen their peripheral vision. They can't see long-term opportunities, a better job, learning how to invest, or building quiet wealth, because the mental bandwidth is consumed by, how do I survive this week? In this state, you're more likely to take a high-interest loan, cash out retirement early, or chase how-to-get-rich-quick schemes, even if you know better. The tunnel doesn't care about your logic. It cares about immediate relief. Until you understand this tunneling effect, every wealth tip you hear will feel like theory that never sticks in real life. Here's where it gets even more uncomfortable. Scarcity doesn't just make you feel stressed. It literally makes you less intelligent in the moment. There's a famous study where researchers looked at people under financial stress and measured their cognitive performance. The result? When money worries were front and center, people lost the equivalent of 13 to 14 IQ points. That's like being as impaired as if you'd pulled an all-nighter. So when you're in that I feel broke state, it's not just emotional. The part of your brain you need for long-term planning and rational investing is partially offline. Why does this matter for building wealth? Because financial freedom is built on a series of smart, calm decisions. Choosing long-term investing over instant gratification, prioritizing a 10% savings rate, understanding compound interest, resisting lifestyle inflation, saying no to bad debt. These are high IQ behaviors. If scarcity is constantly taxing your brain, you're being asked to play a difficult game on hard mode. This is why you might know all the rich people habits from books and podcasts, but still feel stuck. You're not broken. You're overloaded. When we talk about wealth mindset, we're not just talking about positive thinking. We're talking about freeing up mental bandwidth so your natural intelligence can come back online and actually serve you. There's another classic sign that you're trapped in scarcity. You start avoiding your own numbers. You delay opening bills. You ignore bank notifications. You don't log in to check your net worth because the very idea makes your chest tighten. Psychologists call this the ostrich effect. When things feel threatening, we bury our head in the sand and pretend it's not happening. Short term, it gives tiny hits of relief. Long term, it's financial poison. Here's the pattern. Avoiding your numbers creates mystery. Mystery lets your anxiety exaggerate the danger. Exaggerated danger makes you even more avoidant. This is how someone earning 80K can feel exactly as panicked as someone earning 28K. It's not about the amount of money, it's about the fog around it. And in that fog, you can't make a real wealth plan. You can't optimize your money management, and you definitely can't move toward quiet wealth or financial independence. You just keep reacting. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in your wealth mindset is moving from "I'm scared to look" to "I insist on seeing clearly." And to make this journey effortless, we're building the Trip to Wealth Command Center, a Google Sheets system that brings your income, spending, investing, and net worth together in one place. It's your personal strategy hub, designed to expose money leaks, highlight growth opportunities, and show how small decisions shape long-term outcomes. Join the early access list below and secure a discount as an early supporter. Every wealth system needs a strategy. This is where yours begins. Now let's talk about one of the most sneaky parts of the scarcity mindset trap, the obsession with cheap. When you live in scarcity, your brain becomes hyper-focused on cost. You hunt for the lowest price, clip every coupon, drive across town to save $2. On the surface, this feels like good money management, but over time, it quietly keeps you poor. Here's the core issue. Scarcity trains you to ask, how much does this cost today? Wealth asks, what does this create over time? That's the difference between cost and value. For example, someone in scarcity buys the cheapest boots every winter. They fall apart in 3 months, so they buy another pair. Over 5 years, they've spent more money than the person who bought one durable, high-quality pair. Being poor is expensive. The same thing happens with cars, education, even your time. You might say no to a $50 course that could improve your income because it's too expensive, then lose thousands over the next few years because you never built that skill. This doesn't mean spend recklessly. It means shifting from save pennies at any cost to optimize for long-term value. That's true wealth mindset. The question becomes, what choices today give me the highest long-term return in money, time, and peace? Let me introduce you to Lisa. Lisa is 41, earns about $82,000 a year, and on paper she should be doing fine. But every month felt like a crisis. She had decent money coming in, but she was always a step behind. She'd wake up at 3 a.m., heart racing, replaying every bill in her head. When the credit card statement arrived, it went straight into a drawer. She told herself she'd look at it later, but later almost never came. Classic ostrich effect. Because she was always in survival mode, Lisa made decisions that actually kept her stuck. She'd sign up for no-interest for 12 months offers without reading the fine print. She took out a high-interest personal loan to consolidate debt, then used the freed-up credit card limit to ease the stress with little purchases, takeout, small treats, things that felt like tiny relief valves. If you looked at her behavior from the outside, you might say, she's bad with money. But inside her brain, it was all about survival. When she sat down together with an expert, they didn't start with how to get rich. They started with safety. Built a small $500 buffer and committed to one simple habit. Look at your numbers every Friday for 15 minutes, no judgment. Within 3 months, the panic attacks eased. Within 6 months, she had a $2,000 emergency fund, her first real investing account, and a simple plan to pay off high-interest debt. Her income didn't explode. Her psychology shifted. So how do you break the scarcity loop for yourself? You cannot simply affirm your way out of it. When your nervous system is in fight or flight, motivational quotes do almost nothing. Step 1 is what I call artificial safety. You need a physical, visible signal that tells your brain, we're okay, at least for now. This is where a small buffer or emergency fund becomes more than just good financial advice. It becomes psychological medicine. Even a modest buffer, say $500 in a separate savings account or a simple cash envelope, can lower the volume of your money anxiety. It doesn't make you rich, but it tells your brain, if the car needs a repair, we won't immediately drown. That tiny shift in perceived safety can be enough to give you back some of those 13 IQ points that scarcity steals. Suddenly, the idea of learning basic investing or setting up a 10% savings rate doesn't feel impossible. You have just a little more bandwidth for strategy. This is why I'm such a fan of simple, boring systems. a small buffer, a dedicated account for bills, a separate account for investing. These are more than logistics. They're messages to your nervous system. Financial freedom starts with lowering your baseline stress enough that you can think clearly about wealth, not just survival. Once you've created a bit of artificial safety, your next move is counterintuitive. You deliberately look for where you are not scarce. I call this the abundance audit, and it's not about manifesting or pretending you're rich. It's about resetting your brain's filter. Right now, your filter is tuned to what's missing, what's wrong. We need to widen the lens. Start by listing what you actually have, not fantasies, facts, your skills, your income. Any savings, even if it's small, the people you can lean on, the time you control in a week. Maybe you have a stable job, or the ability to earn extra on weekends, or the freedom to learn new high-income skills online for free. When you put this on paper, something important happens. The tunnel starts to crack open. You realize you're not completely powerless. This is where the real psychology of money kicks in. Once you see your resources, you start asking better questions. How can I use what I already have to create more income? How can I invest a small amount regularly and let compound interest work quietly in the background? What expenses are giving me almost no real value? This is where money management becomes strategic instead of reactive. You shift from "I have no options" to "I have a few levers." Which one should I pull first? Ultimately, escaping the scarcity mindset trap is about identity. Survival mode constantly asks, "How do I get through this month?" Strategy asks, "How do I build the next 5 years?" In survival, your sense of self becomes, "I'm the person who struggles with money." In strategy, your identity becomes, "I'm the person who manages money, learns, and improves over time." That shift won't happen in a single afternoon, but every small decision you make, building a buffer, looking at your numbers weekly, choosing value over cheap, investing even a little, is a vote for the new identity. Remember, you can feel poor at 40K, and you can feel poor at 80K or 120K if scarcity is running the show. Financial freedom isn't just about how much you earn. It's about how much mental space you have to make calm, intelligent choices. When you clear the fog of scarcity, all the tools you've heard about, wealth mindset, rich people habits, long-term investing, quiet wealth, finally have room to work. And there you have it, the scarcity mindset trap. Why you feel poor earning 80K. If you found value today, I highly recommend watching my next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to leave your comment below, especially if this video made you think differently. I appreciate your support more than you know. Until next time, stay consistent, stay patient, and stay winning. See you in the next one, Money Magician.